Hey guys, so today I'm going to be talking about foot stability and why it's so important. Most of the time, a lot of people don't actually realize how important it is to have foot stability because it can actually affect your whole chain, which is through your whole body. So think foot's unstable, knee becomes unstable, hip, lower back, mid back, shoulders, neck, etc. So let's dive in. So what is foot stability and why is it important? Like I just said, foot stability is essentially keeping our body mechanics functioning correctly. Why? Because it all starts at the foot, like I just said. So a lot of people will struggle with certain exercises or movements if they don't have that foot stability, and that can be walking as well. Something so simple. If our foot isn't using the necessary muscles to create a strong arch, our whole function goes out, just like that. So if we don't have a strong arch, then our ankle rolls in, which then affects our knee, and like I've said before, so lumbar, lower back, lower spine, to our thoracic, upper spine, mid to upper, and obviously shoulders to head. So a lot of people might say have hip issues, but the issue might not be the hips, it just might be the fact that your foot, it's coming from the foot. And it's really interesting when we start to dig deep and we go through our screening which is what I do with some people, most clients. It's quite hard with online clients, of course, but how you look at someone and they say, all right, sweet, well, I've got a lot of tight lower back on my left side. All right, sweet, well, look at the foot first. Is it your foot, or is it your pelvis, or whatever it may be? And this just helps you identify and understand the issues that might be caused is as simple as foot stability. So it's a really good guide to go through and help you understand a little more about the importance of foot stability. It all connects. If one goes out, then the rest will try and compensate. So for instance, if my ankle is, I guess, unstable because of my foot, then my knee becomes unstable, but my hip, if say I'm working more on hip external rotation, then that's compensating the fact that my foot's unstable, and now I'm causing a little bit of lower back issues because I've got two things fending against different ways. Overactive muscles in areas that are not supposed to be active, it just eventually creates further issues and injuries. Like I said, if one goes out, it creates an imbalance, and it can lead to injuries, mobility and stability issues, which obviously creates long-term postural or performance issues. Most of the time it's postural. Performance issues is affected by postural. So we're looking really at postural issues because obviously if your foot's unstable and then your knee's all over the place, then you're not going to be able to perform a squat, a lunge, walk properly because it's going to be all over the place. When do we use foot stability? So to be specific about everything, we use it through when we're walking, squatting, lunging, jumping, running, and so on. So any kind of movement, it all starts at the foot again. So you can see how important it is to start fixing the issue, how interesting the impact can be just from a lack of foot stability. So we're weighing up now that this is a really important factor we need to start to work on so that we don't have issues in the future, and we can increase our performance now, especially if you're an athlete or you've got injuries already. Then this could be something that you really need to look at. Now we can look at the differences between a stable foot and an unstable foot. You can obviously see here, flat feet, it's not stable at all. There's no muscles being stimulated underneath the plantar. You can see that Achilles is now not straight, it's out of whack, versus a stable foot, which is a straight Achilles. It's not tight, your arch is nice and strong, your muscles are working, and you can kind of see underneath here that arch is being pulled up and you're stimulating those muscles. You can also see on the right hand side the difference between a normal, high and flat foot. See, the high is rolling outwards, the flat feet are rolling inwards, and normal's just nice and neutral between the both of them. You can see here, you might have been to athlete's foot before, they do the little scan on your foot, what your tread should look like. So it should look like this, ideally, not like this. when we're looking at creating a stable foot, we'll go through 3 parts. This is the start. So we start with a tripod stance. So you can see from, in reality, when we think about a tripod stance, we think about obviously a tripod or even a bike with 3 wheels. Those 3 points are going to stabilize you, and they're the things that are going to help you screw your foot into the ground, get that arch up, get those muscles working to keep a stable point so that you are feeling like you're stuck in the mud. The first point is it consists of the heel, the base of the foot, the base of the first toe, and the base of the 5th toe. So the heel, the first toe base, and the 5th toe base. The goal is to maintain the arch of our feet and have our weight distributed evenly, just like a tripod does. Kind of like, your three-wheeled motorcycle, like I've said. And you can see an example here with the photo. So if we look at where we should be putting pressure through our foot, you'll see there are our points that we need to think about. So now you can kind of visualize and picture what you need to be doing, because as soon as you start to put pressure through those points, you instantly start to create a little bit of an arch. From there, you'll see the weight is distributed evenly. Now, part 2 is, now that we understand how the foot should be in a stance, how we should create our tripod foot, we want to look at adding an assistance with our knees and hips. So we're going to start by driving our knees out to the side while you press your big toe into the ground. So you've got your tripod stance, now we're getting those knees out, that big toe into the ground, and as you do that, you might feel that now you're a lot more stable. And it might feel a little weird, you might even cramp up if you haven't done this before, but you'll notice now, you can't really go anywhere, you're stuck in the mud, you're stable, that's your perfect stance. Obviously with our squat stance, we're always going feet in line with shoulders. Now, when you're doing this, notice your foot will automatically create a healthy arch due to when we put our knees in a stable position, our feet end up in a nice stable position. As you can see from the photo here, a flat foot, and you'll see that our knees are just still straight, versus looking at our arch here and you'll see our knees are out. So this is a really good photo. This guy has really good alignment, but you'll get a lot of people that will have their knees inwards. They'll have a bit of knock knees most of the time, or they might even be too far out. Our last part is squatting while maintaining this position. So it's really important. Sweet, now you've got your foot stance, you know what your cues are, knees out, big toe to the ground. Now we want to actually go through the movement and create that stability, get those muscles working a little bit more. So, the final part is obviously for 4 sets of 20 reps, I say high volume for these things because I really want you to go over this and I want you to get used to it. And because if we don't do it enough times, then we don't create that effect of, memorizing the movement. So we want to get used to it. We want to get used to the feeling, what the movement's like, creating that proprioceptive awareness around our body as well about how it feels. So I say 4 sets of 20 reps. Once you can do that pretty easily, if you can do 4 sets of 20 reps easy, you can probably level up a little bit. And I want you to try this with a single leg squat. The same set and rep ranges. So some people might do a pistol squat onto a box before they progress to a full single leg squat or a pistol squat. What we're doing here is we're strengthening the muscles underneath our foot. This helps create a stronger foundation to stabilize our foot correctly. So you can see here, a lot of people don't actually know that there's all these little different muscles around as well. So it's just good for you to see that these are the kind of muscles that you'll have to stimulate and get working to create that stability. And these are the things that, if these are stable, these are the things that are going to keep you through your chain nice and aligned, nice and strong, nice and stable. So this is your foundation and your fundamental you should really be keeping on top of so that you don't have those issues in the future. Now, my final thoughts are, while this may not seem like a big deal, having a stable foot, it really can impact your whole chain and your body for this reason. I believe starting at the feet when it comes to creating a solid foundation is super important. You're going to increase your squat by so much if you create a stable foot. You're going to be able to do more movements like overhead squats, front squats, whatever it may be. There's such a big gap between what people can and can't do because they either have stability in their feet or they don't, and it makes a huge difference. I couldn't do some certain movements when I didn't even realize that I had unstable feet, so it's really helped me out in increasing the way that I move and what I can do. And not only that, but I've had issues in the past with a little bit of hips out of alignment, a tight left side from the past as well. So it's really helped me correct all that. So now I'm at a more upright position, my posture's a lot better, and I can move a lot easier through certain movements like overhead squats or general squats and body weight squats and whatnot. So it is really important. A few other tips I'd say would to be improved dorsiflexion, because if you have a lack of dorsiflexion as well, your ankles may cave in, and that's going to create a few other issues through your chain. But I will go over that in a few other videos. Release any tight muscles or fascial issues, and improve mobility, flexibility of the toes. So that might mean, you might get a trigger ball, roll underneath your foot, release those tight muscles as well. They'll stimulate a little bit. Increasing the mobility of your toes might be, just placing your foot on the ground with the balls of your feet on the ground, and you're just gonna, maybe just push your knee forward and increase how you're going through with those toes. So you can flex those toes and extend those toes properly, because if you've got a lack of flexion and extension in your toes, then that's going to affect your foot stability too. The last swing, this is basically it, and that's a basic overview on how to create stability through your foot. I hope you guys enjoyed that. I'll have a little bit more as I'm going. I'll be powering through a few more videos this year in 2020. So if you have any questions, leave it in the comment section after you watch this video, or in the workout section, and I'll answer your questions as I go. Otherwise, you've got the groups as well. Cheers.